On Christmas Eve, 2023, things were calm at home. We live in Littleton, Colorado, in a modest house on Westlake Avenue. It's not one of those big houses with huge yards, but it works for us. My wife loves decorating this time of year. The living room was full of lights, the tree was all decked out, and the smell of turkey roasting in the oven filled the house. It was me, my wife, and our two kids, one 10 and the other 6, getting ready for dinner. It was one of those moments when everything felt normal. The kids were excited, messing with the presents under the tree. My wife was finishing up setting the table, and I was on the couch, half distracted, with my phone. It was freezing outside, and the wind was howling, so the thought that something weird might happen didn't even cross my mind. It was just another Christmas. Right after dinner, we started opening a few presents, not all of them, since my wife likes saving most for Christmas morning. Meanwhile, our cat, Max, went upstairs. He always does that when the house is noisy. He doesn't like the commotion and prefers hiding out in the kids' room. Around 10 p.m., I heard a noise upstairs. It sounded like something falling. I looked at my wife and asked, "Did you hear that?" She shook her head, too busy trying to convince the youngest to put down his tablet and go to bed. I thought it might have been Max, but the sound was different, like something heavy had been knocked over. I decided to go check it out. I grabbed a small flashlight from the kitchen and headed upstairs, just in case. The hallway was dark, and I felt like something was off. I went into the kids' room first. Max was there, sitting on the bed with wide eyes. He didn't usually act like that. Then I went into our bedroom. That's when I saw one of the dresser drawers open, with some clothes scattered on the floor. At first, I thought it might have been one of those things where you forget to clean up, but I was sure no one had touched it earlier. The drawer had been closed before. I checked the bathroom, but everything there was in place. It started to bug me. I went back downstairs and told my wife, "Something weird is going on upstairs. The drawer's open, and there are clothes on the floor." She looked a little confused, but didn't seem worried. She just said, "Maybe it was you or the kids earlier. Don't overthink it." But I knew it wasn't that. Something didn't add up. I tried to brush it off for a while and went back to the living room. We sat on the couch, chatted a bit more, and then I put the kids to bed. The older one went straight to his room, but the younger one insisted on leaving the hallway light on. He's afraid of the dark, so we left it on for him. When I got back to the living room, I noticed one of the presents under the tree was torn open. It was a blue package with gold ribbons that my wife had wrapped so carefully. I asked if she'd touched it, but she said no. The boys hadn't left their rooms since they'd gone up. That's when I decided to check the security cameras. I'd installed them a few months earlier because there had been a few break-ins in the neighborhood. Nothing too serious, but it's always better to be safe. I grabbed my phone and opened the app. On the first camera, which faces the front of the house, everything looked normal. But on the second one, which covers the side of the house, I saw something that made my stomach drop. Around 6 p.m., before we'd even gotten home, you could see someone climbing in through the basement window. It was a man wearing a dark hoodie with the hood covering his face. He climbed in quickly and disappeared from the camera view. My mind started racing. Who was that guy? And what had he been doing in our house all this time? I told my wife, "There's someone in the house. I saw it on the cameras." She went pale and didn't know what to say. I called the police immediately, trying to stay calm, but inside, I was freaking out. While we waited, I went upstairs again, this time with a baseball bat I keep in the closet. I checked every room, every corner, but there was no one there. The police arrived in less than 15 minutes. They searched the entire house, including the basement, but didn't find anyone. They said the intruder had probably left before I noticed anything. One of the officers said that, based on the behavior, it seemed like the guy was just hiding waiting for the right time to leave. That thought made me uneasy. This guy had been in our house for hours, going through our things while we were downstairs celebrating Christmas. I spent the rest of the night thinking about what could have happened. The police suggested changing the locks and staying vigilant, but that wasn't enough for my wife. She insisted we go to a hotel that night. We packed our bags quickly and left. Over the next few days, I kept replaying the camera footage, trying to figure out what the guy had been after. Nothing was stolen, but the sense of violation was unbearable. We ended up selling the house a few months later. I never wanted to spend another Christmas there. Even now, I can't stop wondering what might have happened if I hadn't noticed that noise or the torn present. And what was that man planning? We're trying to move on, but some things stick with you forever.